Hi everyone, welcome to the St Albans Property Meet. As I was saying, on a take one, we've got an OG Glenn. You've been in property 20 years, you're telling me?
2004.
Wow, so we're going to get huge value for our audience today. Tell me, what did you do 20 years ago from property perspective? You were telling me about it earlier.
We created same-day refinance.
Wow, what did that mean?
It meant that we could apply to remortgage a property before we owned it, and the solicitors would draw down the mortgage money. We'd then buy the house cash, and then we'd get cash back every time we bought a house.
Wow, so that property strategy worked 2 decades ago. Now you can't apparently do it because of the tenants can't be the same person. Is that the person selling it?
Mortgage Express were part of Bradford and Mingley, and when
Right.
they went. But during that time, we actually set a goal of buying 52 properties in 52 weeks.
Wow.
And we bought 52 in 48 weeks.
Wow, and that's millions of pounds of property, isn't it? Even back then, right? Potentially.
Quite a lot, yeah.
So, what strategy is working now for you?
Airspace.
Is this on blocks on the top of them?
Building on top of mainly commercial properties in the Midlands. Always different strategies work in different areas depending on price points.
Right.
So, you know, what worked 20 years ago in part of the country, 10 years after that, a lot of the country didn't work, but other parts it started working in.
Wow.
So it's very important to understand your price points. For instance, if we were advertising...
Just let me jump in there. What's the return that you would get if you do an airspace development typically on your investment? What's the return on GDV?
Return on cash?
Yeah, or return on GDV, what the gross development value will be.
No, it's whole different.
All right, return on cash.
Why would you have a return on cash when it can be infinite?
Fair point. My thing is, so if I do a development, it's worth £1 million.
Yeah, okay.
Right? How much does it cost me, and how much do I make on the uplift? So if
I'm
I spend 700 grand,
I'm doing a development that's just over 200 grand.
200 grand, yeah.
Sorry, that's going to end up with a GDV of just over 2 million.
2 million.
Okay. Refinance it. I think it was about 1.6, something like that. Yeah.
So you're going to get about 80%, 70 to 80%.
Well, cost.
Yeah.
20 grand for the architect and the survey, make sure it'll take the 2 stories above. Okay, 100% finance because of the end value.
Yeah.
750 grand build cost.
Yeah.
Work it out. There's about 600 grand cash back, 700
Wow.
grand cash back, and 10 grand a month profit. But that's airspace.
Wow, because what are you doing on the airspace? Are you putting modular buildings or are you actually building?
Whatever works.
Have you done both?
We're doing. It's always HMO rooms.
Yeah.
Self-contained HMO rooms, which rent out at about £180 a week. Yeah, in most Midlands areas. Yeah.
Wow. So you're buying the block, commercial, probably
No.
residential?
We're taking an option on building on the roof.
Even better.
Yeah.
And the foundations, obviously, you've got them checked to
We
can
have
hold
to
the
make
weight.
that, for the owner's perspective, we have to get that checked out properly. So we can go to the owner and say, look, we'll give you an option on it, £1, 5 grand, whatever it is. And then what we'll do is, providing the architect who works with us says okay, because he's pretty good, okay, and he normally takes half his fee up front and half on completion of the deal, which is another nice thing.
Just on that deal earlier, in my head, I'm just working out, that's about 50% on
What's the
GDV,
return on
isn't it?
investment? If you put it into 20
It's
grand,
infinite. It's infinite because you're leaving no money
well,
in.
it's 20 grand in and 700 grand out.
That's just mind blowing because you've got a 2 million
And
GDV.
what we do is we teach people how to do it for 1 grand, but we want 40% of the cash back.
Mind blowing.
Or they pay 10 grand and they keep all the cash back.
Wow. We're going to tag Glenn in. Unbelievable value. This is what you get at St Albans Property Meet. Glenn, thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
It's been a while since we had Julie on St Albans Property Meet. Julie.
See.
And there's been a lot happening, and Julie's going to give us insight. Give us the legendary renters' right bill update and what landlords are really worried about.
Okay, so the renters' rights bill is now in the last stages. So 14th of October, it will go back to the House of Lords. The House of Lords will basically look at all of the amendments they put forward, and there was just over 300 of them.
Wow.
And unfortunately, the Commons rejected all of them. So the House of Lords will now decide if they want to put any more amendments forward. I'd probably think that's a waste of time. They're only going to get rejected. So 14th of October,
What did they reject? What was
my goodness.
Tell me the big ones.
So some of them were landlords being able to take pet insurance against pet damage. There was another one which was an extra
Well,
deposit.
they said don't have it in there.
Yeah.
But House of Commons want it in.
The House of Lords wanted it in, House of Commons rejected it.
They wanted pet insurance in.
Yeah.
So, but they want you're allowed to put pets, but you don't have to force them to have insurance.
Yeah, so you can't force them to have insurance. The other amendment was the landlord being able to take an extra 3 weeks deposit as like pet damage on top of the 5 week security. That got rejected as well. So basically, if you take a pet, there's no protection now.
Unless you can potentially, they may not get the tenancy.
That's possible, but if they move in and then request the pet, you have to have a reasonable reason to refuse.
And what is a reasonable reason?
For example, if it's an HMO, that would be a perfectly good reason not to have a pet, because if one has a pet, they all have a pet,
Religious
suddenly you've got a
backgrounds?
zoo. Oh, I don't know. It would be reasonable, I suppose, if it's
'Cause-
reasonable.
If I'm using this point out there, Islamically, we're not allowed to have dogs inside the house.
I don't know the answer to that, but it's a good
Wow.
one. It's a good one.
Watch this point. She's going to comment below and tell us the answer to that.
I am.
I'm telling you. So
That's
it
a
could be a
great
religious,
one.
and that is actually a religious reason.
Okay.
Because we had a German Shepherd. He had to be outside. We loved him to bits, and because religiously, when a dog, it's a whole issue thing. You're not allowed to have him in the house.
Okay.
That's actually
That's
a
a
re-
possibility.
Wow.
It's not in the bill. Doesn't mean it couldn't be a reasonable reason.
Wow. What other reason?
So, for example, if the welfare of the animal would be at stake. So what I mean by that is if your tenant wants to bring a Great Dane into a studio flat, it's not going to fit. Reasonable reason, because it would be the welfare of
Or
the
if
animal.
they're shedding a lot,
Yeah.
and that can cause a lot of problems as well.
Absolutely.
Especially if you have people who could be, it could act up on them. They could end up being allergic to it. That's
Yeah.
the word I'm looking for.
Possibly. Allergy
Wow.
is another reason, but you've got to have specifics around it. So as a landlord, you couldn't say, I don't want you to have dogs, I'm allergic to dogs, if you never intend to move into that property. So if you were then intended to move into that property maybe directly after that let,
Wow.
your reasonable reason would be, you can't have a dog, I'm allergic, I'm moving straight in after you.
Wow. So pets going to be a bit of a pain in this one.
Yeah.
What is the other big one?
The other big one is landlords fearing that they can't evict a tenant with
That's the
Section
one we were talking
21 going. It's not going to be the case. Interestingly, when you look at the stats from the Ministry of Justice for 2024, less than 1% of possession was because of Section 21.
Wow.
So clearly it's not being used randomly, willy-nilly, just to evict people because the landlord's woken up on a Monday morning and gone, I'd rather have a vacant property than a tenant paying rent. No.
Okay.
So Section 21 isn't the reason people are being made homeless. The tenants are doing something, but Section 21 happens to be the smoother process.
Right. But it's going to be a lot of cost now to get a tenant out, a longer period.
Yeah.
Because Section 21 was the easy way. Now they have to do Section 8, isn't it?
Yeah.
And therefore it's going to be,
Yeah.
Rachel, Keir Starmer, whoever the new housing minister, whoever is it now?
Steve Reed.
God knows who he is. But anyway, because
was a former
Angela
Lambeth
should have got
council.
stamp duty land tax advice. Just let you know.
Steve Reed was a former Lambeth Council lead.
That's going to be a car crash straight away. Going to get in trouble in this one. So we've got a lot of problems.
We have, but I think if landlords look at it just as a change in business strategy, it actually isn't that difficult to navigate. If you are referencing your tenants really comprehensively, so rather than having the immediate landlord's reference, who, let's face it, if you've got a rogue tenant, you're going to tell someone they're an angel just to get rid of them.
Wow.
So if you are relying solely on the immediate landlord, you may not get a good reference. So go to the previous landlord. That landlord's got nothing to lose because they've already got rid of the tenants.
Got it.
You're going to get more of a clearer picture of their rental history there.
I'll be an example. One of our neighbours had a landlord come and knock on our door. It was a rainy day, gentleman, talking about one of our neighbours, and he asked the question. He hasn't done something in the house that you shouldn't have done. And he was an older gentleman, and I had to say, don't go down that path with this gentleman. So you're absolutely right. Go and ask the neighbours of the tenants if you go down that, or the landlord, because you're going to get insight and you're going to find out if they're a good quality tenant. Because you're going to have to do it now because it's too much at stake.
Absolutely. It's not going to be as easy to evict. You still can, but it's just not going to be as easy.
So this is going to make it harder for people to get a property.
I absolutely believe that it's going to make almost a dystopian society of the tenants with the perfect credit rating and the perfect salary against those with maybe a CCJ on a low income. I think we're just going to have this huge divide.
Got the wrong parking charge or anything like this.
Yeah, I just think it's going to create a huge divide because landlords aren't going to want to take the risk. They're going to want the perfect tick box.
And there's less of them as well because they're selling and moving abroad. This is the challenges, but don't get depressed. Julie can help you. I'm going to tag her in and she's going to let us know about the little question I asked earlier.
I will.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Gotta love St Albans Property Meet. Got Nilima who's going to talk about her lettings business and how she's going to be helping onto it. Nilima.
Hi.
Thank you for having us. So you've been a landlord.
I've been a landlady for about 10 years now. So I really enjoy looking after my 3 properties in London. I've got a really good relationship with my tenants. It's great, you know, when tenants leave, they buy me a box of chocolates or a bottle of Prosecco or something. It's really lovely.
And now you're looking to expand and help other people.
Yeah.
And what is your USB that you're going to tell people?
Yeah, so my USB, as you say, my unique selling point is I'm a landlady myself and I look after my tenants. I really believe that a tenant-landlord relationship is a partnership.
Of course.
So whenever I do any work with my tenants, it's all about making sure that everyone is comfortable, is happy, and I want to find clients that have those same values. So what I'd really, really like to do, because I live in St Albans, is see if I can expand my business out of London into St Albans and try and manage properties for people that have got properties in St Albans, because it's local to me.
So if you're a St Albans landlord and you've had enough of managing your properties, we're going to tag Nilima. Are you on LinkedIn? Are you on the
am
socials?
on LinkedIn.
We'll tag you in if you drop a message. We'll tag her in because she can help you. And especially...
I'll take the pain away.
That's it.
Take the pain
and it's
away.
always about adding value. And also, I guess, apart from obviously the pain of letting, and you're obviously helping them get the right tenants and then manage the tenant relationship.
The right tenants and getting the right tenants in there. But as I say, I think it's always about having a good partnership. I really believe it's about relationships, not about fleecing people. We don't do that. We care about people.
And I guess it's then charging the market rates and making sure you're providing a service.
Absolutely.
You're keeping the 2 relationships, the landlord and the tenant,
Yeah.
getting the right match. And especially in the new world of the Renters' Right Bill, we were talking to Julie earlier, there's going to become more important than ever, isn't it?
More important than ever. That's why I've got my clients in London. They're just like, can you just help me and manage it for me? So why not bring it here to where I live?
Wow. And have you got a name for your business?
Yes, it's Petra Consulting Limited.
Wow. So Petra Consulting Limited.
Yeah.
And she's going to be offering it. We're going to tag her in. And hopefully she can help your journey, especially in St Albans or in this area. This is the person to say thank you so much.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it.